host of the Gridiron.
Oh, yeah. Speaking about quarterbacks. Oh, yeah. Now, Eli deserves to, obviously. But when? Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Does he get in there eventually? If he gets in there eventually, is that cool? I have to wait and see. I have to wait and see. One thing I did see, which was very interesting, somebody in one of the Facebook groups, they did something and they went and they, with Eli here, how many Pro Bowlers did Eli play with in his career? Right, you go over his whole career. Right, how many different? 2007, how many offensive players won on the Pro Bowl 2008, and yada, yada, yada. And I'll tell you what, he was not at the luxury of playing with a plethora, shall we say, of Pro Bowlers. Now, whoever, I can't remember the guy who did it, who looked the stuff up, the stats up, but he also did it for, I think it was, he did it for Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, and I think Eli Manning. And then I did Tom Brady as well, too. Just wanted to see how, kind of interesting to see how many Pro Bowlers did Tom Brady play with in his career. Now, let me see here. All right, here we go. Right here. Okay, here we go. Cool. All right. Now, so Big Ben, his career. All right. I gotta zoom this in here. Now, wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah. Can I move this up a little bit? Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. Check marks are just so small. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Throughout the course of his career, he played with not 10 different, but as the seasons went on, wide receivers that went to the Pro Bowl. 10 times he had wide receivers on his roster that went to the Pro Bowl. Now, if you look 10, nope. All right, try it again here. Yeah, I mean, compare that to Eli. Eli had, was that 5? 5. 5. So Big Ben, now also to be fair too, all right, one of the things, just to be straight up fair here, right? Obviously, right? If you're that good of a quarterback, you can make players around you better, right? Without question. Especially, you wide receivers, if you can throw them open or what, if you're a good quarterback, you can, get your guys, if they're decent, get them a lot of receptions and all. There's no doubt about that. One thing I kind of like shake, man, is offensive linemen. Are you making offensive linemen better? I don't know, maybe you can make them a little bit better as far as, hey, we're good. We need to give our all or whatever. Maybe a little bit, but I'm not too convinced about maybe offensive linemen. Look here. Not look here. You got to take my word for it, right? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Eli Manning had 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 7 offensive linemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 offensive linemen. At different times, it went to the Pro Bowl throughout the course of his career. I was even a little shocked about that, but 7. That's all he had, of course, of his career. Ben Roethlisberger had, actually Drew Brees even had even more than this, but we're going to start with Big Ben. Offensive line. get this up here. I said Eli had 7. Big Ben had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. He had 22 offensive linemen, Pro Bowlers. He had 3 times the amount of Pro Bowl offensive linemen that Eli had. 22. 10 wide receivers, running back. Now, obviously, the running back, a lot of it is probably pretty, it could be like early on. Obviously, it might have been Jerome Bettis, maybe his last season or so, or whatever. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had 8, right? 8. So 18, 20. He's had, Big Ben had 42 different players. 42 go to the Pro Bowl on offense on his team when he was the quarterback of the Steelers. 42, right? Eli had nowhere near that. Big Ben had 42. Eli had Tom Brady. I think I counted. Tom Brady had like 24. I think it was. So, but that's even more than Eli had. Eli had 5 wide receivers for Pro Bowlers, 3 running backs, 2 tight ends. So he said that's 10, and he had 17. Yeah, and he had 7 offensive linemen. Eli Manning had 5 wide receivers go to a Pro Bowl. According to this guy, this is all I'm going by. Right, I found this in Facebook. Right, Eli had 3 running backs go to Pro Bowl, 2 tight ends, and 7 offensive linemen. He had 17 players, 17 go to Pro Bowl in the course of his career. Now, basically, he played from almost 16 years, I think it was. So in 16 years, other than himself, he had basically one guy on offense, one guy a year on average, go to a Pro Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger had 42. I said even Tom Brady had 24. Right? 24. Ben Roethlisberger had 42. Then we go to Drew Brees. Right? Now, Drew Brees was never really, obviously, blessed with a ton of phenomenal wide receivers. Right? He had a lot of good ones, but never nothing super duper phenomenal. But what they did do a lot was they protected him, right? They realized that Drew Brees obviously was going to be at his best when he could stand up. He was not very tall, so they had to protect him. If they could protect him, right, magical things could happen. But Drew Brees had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. He had 25 offensive linemen go to the Pro Bowl. 25. He had more offensive linemen, Drew Brees, go to the Pro Bowl during his career than Eli Manning had his whole offensive team. Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and offensive line. He had 25. He had 5 tight ends. That's 30. He's running back, maybe like Alvin Kamara. Right? So that's 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 39. And 3 wide receivers. So he had 42. So he had the same amount as Ben Roethlisberger. But he had 25 offensive linemen, of course, in his career, go to a Pro Bowl. Said Eli Manning had, 7? 7. He had 3.5 times the amount of offensive linemen go to a Pro Bowl than Eli did. And, of course, Drew Brees is going to be darn near probably first-ballot Hall of Famer. Right? Then we go to Phillip Rivers, right? Now, let's see. Phillip Rivers had 1, 2. He had 5 wide receivers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 running backs. So that's 12. Antonio Gates, right? Tight ends. So we got 1, 2, 4, 5. 6 tight ends. So that's 18. So that's already more than Eli Manning had. Then he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 offensive linemen. So he had 29. Philip Rivers, during the course of his career, had 29 players go to the Pro Bowl. Once again, Eli Manning had only 17. Right? Now, we can also go to, okay, well, Philip Rivers, probably was at certain years, maybe had better years than Eli and this, that, and the other thing and all. But once again, you look at this, the talent that Eli played with compared to maybe some of the talent that some of the other teams were, played with. I mean, I said Drew Brees had 42 players go to the Pro Bowl during his career on offense. 2.5 times what Eli. Eli had 17. Ben Roethlisberger had 42 guys on offense during the course of his career go to Pro Bowl. Eli had 17. At 2.5 times the amount of Pro Bowlers that Eli had. Now, once again, I get it. Especially if you're a wide receiver. It kind of goes both ways. I mean, if you're a really good wide receiver, you get open, and almost any quarterback can hit you. Right. But also likewise, it kind of goes a little give and take, right? I mean, sometimes quarterbacks can throw players open, right? And if you have a quarterback that's that good at throwing the football, guess what? You're going to get more receptions because the quarterback's that good, right? But, if we look at Ben Roethlisberger, how many Super Bowls did he win? Well, I know one. They beat the 2005. Right? 2004, 2005. Well, let's see. When they beat the Seahawks. Super Bowl, baby. Oh, let's see. No, it's not going to show it there. No, it's not going to show. But he beat the Seahawks. Then they lost to the Packers in 2010. Right? And then he what was it? Then they beat the Cardinals. Okay. So he's got two Super Bowls and he lost one. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger without question, right? Obviously, that's a no-brainer. Hall of Famer, right? But if you look at Philip Rivers, a lot of people look at Philip Rivers and they compare him to Eli Manning. It's like, Philip Rivers better career than Eli Manning. Okay, well, how many Super Bowls has he been to? None. Right? How many Super Bowl MVPs? Right? You look at Drew Brees, right? How many Super Bowls? I mean, he's so good. How many Super Bowls has he been to? One. Right? That was a good Super Bowl. Very exciting. Very exciting. But one. Right? I said so. You look at what Eli Manning also has played with compared to some of those other right. He's played with far less Pro Bowl talent, right? Far less than some of those other quarterbacks have. Far less. And not only that, but he won 2 magical runs, right? 2, the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, and obviously culminated in the Super Bowl by 2 Super Bowl MVPs, right? So I mean, you can look. At certain things and all. But, to me, this would obviously, to me, right, and it doesn't necessarily mean, nobody's in there, looking ahead or anything like that and saying, well, we got to get Eli in now because if we don't get him in, then nobody's doing that because he's going to have to start. He'll have competition going forward, He's going to go up again head-to-head against Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. So he's going to start going head-to-head, and when he's going head-to-head against those guys, they're going to lose. He's going to lose. So we got to get him in this year. Oh, they're not saying that, obviously. But let's see. Yeah. I mean, I saw a couple of ads. You know, let's see. It says one of the things says Giants fans should be on board with passing over Eli Manning for the Hall of Fame this year. Well, there are other guys obviously out there that have who have better overall stats, more Pro Bowls, all pros. Right, Eli's never been an all pro. They're getting their eligibility deserves. I mean, like Richmond Webb, Steve Wisniewski. I mean, 8-time Pro Bowler. You know what I mean? They're also talking about Ricky Waters. Right? I don't see him as that, but he was a 5-time Pro Bowler. He just, certain guys, just have a lot of, a lot of credentials to them, right? There's a lot of guys. Yeah, obviously, there's 17 semifinalists who belong in Canton before Eli, right? They talk about Antonio Gates, who is an 8-time Pro Bowler. Luke Kuechly, 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, right? Antonio Gates, All-Decade Team, right? Earl Thomas, 7-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Marshall Yonda, 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, All-Decade Team. Torrey Holt, All-Decade Team. Jared Allen, Terrell Suggs, Reggie Wayne. So there are guys, but once again, right? A lot of what they're going by there is they're talking on, a lot of it, the all Pro Bowl. Well, that's during the regular season. And I get it, right? A lot of, there was none of those guys, went into because the thing is, we're talking here, right? There's no other quarterback. Eli's the only quarterback. This would be a perfect time for him to get in. There was no player on that list who said, 2 times too, right? We got 3 playoff games, right? Then the Super Bowl, right? Tampa Bay, Dallas, Packers, Patriots. Atlanta, Packers, 49ers, Patriots, right? So 3 games in the Super Bowl. There's nobody on that list anywhere. Nobody, right? After the season was over with, had 3 playoff games and the Super Bowl, said guys, get on my back. We're going to win the next 4 games. It's all on me. Ain't nobody could do it. Nobody. I don't care how many All Pro, Marshall, I don't give a rat's rear end. Don't care. Right? When all the chips were in the middle of the table, Eli Manning delivered. Right? He went on those 2 magical runs. There's nobody there. I don't care who they are. Reggie Wayne. No, don't care. They could triple team Reggie Wayne and take him out of the game. Right? So I mean, a lot of great players. They all deserve. Antonio Gates, right? Nobody could put the team on their back like Eli Manning did 2 times, win 3 playoff games, and beat the Patriots and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So if Eli Manning's going to go into the Hall of Fame, this would be an absolutely perfect time for him to get in there, without question.